Hi, a film I was interested to see for quite a long time and which has finally been available on home video is The New Mutants. Quite categorically, the last X-Men film before it's folded into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It had been in development for a very long time and was actually filmed in 2017. It went through a testing process, and apparently there was talk of it being massively reshot, um, of incorporating new characters, one played by John Hamm, who would be a new villain. And then the studio changed hands and it kept being shuffled around the release schedule. Eventually, it got to the point where reshooting wasn't possible because the actors didn't look the same age that they were when the rest of the film was made. So it was eventually snuck out at the end of the last summer and is now available on home video. It's not very good. The idea was to create a horror themed spin off from the X Men series about a group of young mutants who find themselves imprisoned in a form of mental hospital where they will be able to get their destructive powers under control before they can be transferred to presumably Charles Xavier's mansion. But the doctor who's in control of the environment, is vaguely sinister, and there are concerns that there's something strange going on. Characters start having odd hallucinations. And it turns out that it's really related just to the characters' powers. There's really no point in not spoiling this film because it's so bland and pedestrian that there's really no point in watching it. The film has a relatively low budget and a relatively small cast. We have a few recognizable actors from other movies: Maisie Williams, Anya Taylor Joy. Um, I found it odd that the um, main lead character isn't billed top because she's simply not well known enough, which I found absurd. Um, but overall, this is eminently disposable. Um, it seems to exist purely just as another way of perpetuating the X Men brand and keeping the money coming in, rather than, say, giving an original twist on the material as the Deadpool movies did. So the idea that after all this time they should finally sneak this movie out, and apparently this is the director's preferred version, I find ridiculous. The film is barely 90 minutes long. It struggles towards coherence, and it's mostly very dull. It's supposed to be a horror movie, and it isn't in any way frightening, and doesn't even seem to flirt with the idea of fear. Um, Character motivations are vague and unformed, um, and just overall, it feels completely pointless and a waste of time for all involved. It's not absolutely awful. There is a degree of basic competence, and the performances are all fine. There's nothing obviously bad about it, but it just feels so obviously chopped and changed and rethought and rehashed until just all coherence is purely coincidental. So, as a final fanfare for the X Men franchise, it's pretty ignominious and it's absolutely not worth your time.